Hey everybody, and welcome to Paper Crafting with Tammi. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. It is awesome to see you here. I have a great project for us today that we're going to start on in just a minute. If you haven't done it yet, take a minute and hit that big red subscribe button so you see what else I've got for you next time, and let's get started. Hey paper crafting friends! Our layout today is going to be created with paper from this Die Cuts with a View Zodiac stack. So I went through a video a while back where I took this stack and I separated it into 4 sets of paper that I want to use to create layouts. So I pulled one of those sets out, and that's what we're going to be working with today. So these are the cards that I had pulled to go with this particular paper set. This piece is actually one sheet of paper from the stack. It was kind of a sky, a galaxy picture on the one side, and then it's holographic foil on the other. So I actually cut it into 4 strips so I could use a little bit with each of the packs. So I've got that. And then let me just show you these others. There's this black design with some white accents on it. This one's a little bit more of like a periwinkle color with some white. There's this beautiful galaxy print. This is about like that periwinkle color, and it's got some of the holographic foil. And then I was thinking probably I'm going to go with this charcoal background, and then I'll decide for sure once I start kind of laying it out. But that seemed like a color that might kind of pull it all together and do some good grounding. So I am really excited to get creating with this, and I will start to get some templates laid out and we'll get busy creating. Thanks for joining me today. Alrighty, for today's layout, you're going to need a little bit of imagination, simply because one of the templates that I'm using, I just have one of, and that's this Streamers 2 template. So this is a really cool set. It's got a couple of really neat templates in here, but there is just one of this particular design. So I really thought that this curve going across would work well with this kind of galaxy themed paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 of these, and they'll travel all the way across the layout. So that really brought me to a design that I thought would be kind of playful, that could really have some flexibility. This would be darling for pictures of my grandsons. It would work really well for any kind of like an encouragement page, some kind of an awards ceremony, something where you want to encourage somebody to keep kind of going for it and reaching for their dreams and their goals. So that was kind of what I went with. It's a bit of a kind of a space theme, and then just that idea of shooting for the stars. So I found this Gadgets template that I put in the background here. This is Gadgets 3, and my plan would be to mirror that. It would end up down here on this side as kind of a background again for a 4x4 photo. I've seen people use this Streamers template instead of kind of as a background template like I am. I've seen people cut their photos to fit perfectly on that Streamers template, and that looks really cool too. I just decided to use it more as a background accent. So what else have I got in here? This is an a la carte starship. I'm not sure if this is still available anymore. I still have a few of them, but I'm not sure if you can get them from the company itself anymore. I'd have to look. I pulled this out of our adventure set. I think this one is too. Yep, so that's from the adventure template set. This circle is actually out of tiny shapes. This looks weird the way I have this layered, but I've got a really specific card, sentiment card that I want to use those for. And this Sweet Pea template really worked nicely with that Stay Wild Moonchild message on here, but I don't want to lose the moon. So I'm gonna kind of layer these and cut so that I get the curve of that moon still. So that's kind of the idea with that. This is from Elements 3, and this just is gonna fit really well on this card here that says, "Let the magic happen." And that's gonna bring in a little bit more of that really pretty holographic design. Okay, and the rest is photo mats. So I've got a 3x4 here. This is actually probably gonna end up being this card here that says "Wishes from the Heart." That's kind of what I have in my mind. And then I've got room for 1, 2, 3, 4 4x6s, and then 2 4x4s. And I think this will just be a lot of fun. I do have my adventure template set just kind of standing by because I thought, you know, I may want to bring in a couple of stars somewhere in here. I've got that really fun holographic paper. I have a plan for part of it, but I'm definitely not going to use all of it. So whether I cut some, I'd probably go for a little bit smaller star, we'll see. But I may end up doing a little bit of decorating around the edges with some of this holographic paper. So I'm excited to start making some paper choices and start doing some cutting, and I'll come back and show you how that goes. The paper I chose to trace this streamers to is this kind of periwinkle paper with a little white design on it. And I just wanted to show you this paper is a little bit bigger than 12 inches because this being a paper pad, you know, it's got the hole at the top. And a lot of times people will trim their paper to a 12 by 12 before they ever start working with it. But this particular piece, because of the curve of this template, it actually works perfect to just leave it. There's no reason to cut that extra down before you start tracing. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And then I just want to show you with this template, you can just scoot it down. And that shape is really super close and close enough to go ahead and do the next one. So you can see how when I cut another, it's going to just continue that curve onto that next page. So I'm not going to worry about the fact that this is a tiny bit off of that original trace line. I'm going to go ahead and just scooch this, and I'm going to worry about the bottom. And I'm going to go for it. Okay. That's going to leave me a nice chunk of this paper that I can use either for accents on this layout or for a card later or another project. Well, I had a lot of fun making paper choices for this layout, and I'm excited to show you how it came together. So I started with this kind of periwinkle print with the white, and that was the one I showed you just on the, quick little clip on how to trace those and get them cut out. And that is going to just be that streamer across the layout. Okay. I used the print that really looks like a galaxy to cut the two gadgets pieces. My plan was to just kind of tuck that under a bit. So a lot of that shows, but I didn't cut the entire thing. I don't know if you saw that. I didn't cut the whole thing. I knew that it was going to be tucked. So rather than waste that paper, I didn't worry about that piece. Same with this side. I knew it was going to be tucked under, but there is definitely more showing over here. So kind of something like that. When I got to the photo mats, I'm not going to lie, I had this big dilemma. So you can kind of see how this is coming together here. My original plan was to use this black for the photo mats, but as I laid it like on the charcoal, I really was not a fan. So maybe if I'd gone with a different background color, the charcoal, than the charcoal, maybe this black would have been okay, but I didn't like it with this. I had this on the opposite side. That was just, I don't know, too matchy. So that paper's out. I can add it into a different layout. Then I thought, well, I could use this. It's that periwinkle with the holographic design on it, which is beautiful. But again, almost exactly like what I used here. The back side of it, though, ended up being this really beautiful, deep, deep blue, almost like a blue purple. And that ended up looking really nice on the charcoal. I like it against this. So I ended up going with that. It was kind of a hard decision, honestly, because the holographic design on this paper is gorgeous, and I hate to not use it. I did end up saving a little piece of it, and I could use it for something else, but for this layout, it ended up being this deep, deep purpley blue that won. Now I could have pulled a paper from my stash that was about this color, but when I create layouts with these kits, they end up becoming classes for me. So I like to use what I've got in the kit, like in the paper pad, and I build classes out of them to sell at events and things. So it is important to me to use it that way. Plus, when I'm sharing things with you, I want to make it easy for you to go grab a paper stack and make the most of it. So that is the back of that paper. So I hope that you like how that came out. I'm actually really happy with it. I think that color for the mattes is perfect. It's still going to allow all of these other things to shine. And it'll be a good, just little piece that's going to pop out behind those photos. So there's that tag that says, "Let the magic happen." So I cut that with the Elements 3 template. And then this is how this one turned out, the Stay Wild Moonchild. Remember I was showing you how I was going to layer the shapes 7T and the Sweet Pea. So that one turned out great. I used some of that holographic sheet to make my rocket ship. And then I traced this design from one of the sentiment cards. It says, "Shoot for the stars." So originally I was planning on having this adventure kind of be pointing up and then the rocket going, but I felt like once this got close up here, it was really too matchy. So I want to pull that rocket ship down a bit, and I'm just going to overlap it over the photos. So it kind of took away the need for this arrow. I'm going to pull that out. I could always add it back in later if I wanted. But I did want another pop of this holographic paper because I've got a touch here, there's a little touch here, a little touch here. So I decided to kick this photo over to the side a bit, and we'll just kind of pull this in. In my original design, I had this arrow pointing down, but with this message of "shoot for the stars," I just thought, well, let's just keep everything moving in this upward motion. So that's the basic layout, and I've got some of the holographic paper left. So I've got a couple of choices to make here because I do want to put some stars or some kind of glittery design around. So I could either use a punch maybe, or my Cricut, cut some little stars out of this. I don't want anything huge, and decorate around. Particularly the top is what I'm thinking, kind of up in this upper area. Or I was thinking about a stencil that I have. So I have this Tim Holtz stencil, and I just discovered these really fun stickles. So they're gel, glitter gel stickles. This one's called Dark Matter, and it's got lots of little bits in it that are really like purples and turquoises and stuff, so it might be beautiful for this. This other one that I grabbed is called, I think it's called Asteroid. It's kind of hard to read it, but it's a real shiny one as well. So I did a little sample on a piece of this charcoal cardstock, and hopefully you can see the difference. So I've got to contemplate that. So as I put these down and think about it, I'll have to decide if I'm going to go with one of these and just use that stencil to create some little designs around the edges, or if I'm going to go ahead and just use the holographic paper and cut some stars. So you'll have to keep watching to the end. I'll put some pictures and let you see what I decided. So the other decision that I made with this particular layout, I did ink everything in the black soot. So I used that black soot distress ink from Tim Holtz rather than the vintage photo that we often use with Kiwi Lane. Certain color palettes, I just like the black soot better. So I hope you enjoyed your time with me today and that this layout inspires you to get out some of your papers and get busy creating. I'm always excited to have an opportunity to share with you. So I hope that you enjoyed it too. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.